What's up, guys? Just here back to my channel. Tonight, be doing a review for Aew Dynamite. So let's get to it. Then this is the aftermath of AW All Out. So here we go. All right. So Heyman and Paige address Kyle Fletcher and Lee more already about what happened for schedule tonight and stuff. And all right, the commentary crew repeatedly runs advertise on tonight's show and posts AW All Out Toronto episode of the show. They see backstage at him and Paige's show talking about the challenge Kyle Fletcher from this past Saturday night peer-reviewed title defense stuff. Once again, Heyman gives the Doncast family member credit for taking him to the limit and giving him all he can handle in their main event title. So they all in Toronto. So show on September 20, he said regardless, he still emerged with the title stats and still intact. So yeah. All right. So at the first match going. Square circle. All right, so first match coming up is AEW World Tag Team Championship. Brody King and Bandito versus the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Loa. We see early on the blah blah blah. Okay, so Bishop Khan and Toa Loa. And Ricochet takes a long side cover to win commentary. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the where the match starts. Okay. Once the title comes to the Dell, they come to Reen's eyes, showing the Word Weekend. With that, okay, so here we go. The bell sounds to get victory offering. Leona and Brody King kick things off for respective teams. At the onset, quickly, however, we see Brody insists on going up against Toa. King obliges and makes a tag. Bandito lands a shot that barely phrases Leona, but the RH World Champion uses his quickness to stay on top of things. He hits a couple of drop kicks before Toa swats him away, and a tag is made to Khan to continue the damage. We see some chops from Bandito. Bishop brushes them off like they're nothing. It quickly takes him to the mat. Bandito comes back strong, lifting Khan up. Bishop breaks free to send the champ to the corner with a hammer throw. They pack, forcing Bandito to the mat as Khan gets a boot on him for a near fall. Alright. Come on, you stupid thing. God damn it. Alright, so anyways, from there, the tag is made to Leon, who continues inflicting pain on the champ before landing a scoop slam. Khan tags back in for a few shots of his own before tagging Leona. Toa keeps up the work on Bandito before the latter manages to make a tag to King. Alright. So the big man of the Brodeo duo takes Leona out of the mix before hitting a lariat on Khan, making a cover for a close 2 count. He sends Bishop to the corner for a superplex, but gets knocked off by Khan before Leona charges in to level the playing field. On that note, show to Garrison to make a commercial break. As it continues, when the show returns, we see Brodeo suddenly nearing victory, prompting Ricochet to leave the commentary desk and try to get involved. Referee Aubrey Uppers ends up catching Ricochet in time, however, and promptly ejects him from the ringside area for the rest of the match, which we found out moments later isn't going to be that much longer at all. Alright, anyways, after Games of Agony failed to capitalize on the chaos, we see Brodeo quickly picks up the win to retain. So winners are still AEW World Tag Team Champions Brodeo. Then we see backstage with the commemoration and stuff about their hinting, who the ministry partners, then all that. So, and then we see Chris Steiner is a banged up fighting champion. We see return backstage interview. AEW Women's World Champion Chris Steiner hyping up a sidekick Hardy Cameron, all that stuff. And then second match coming up is AEW World Tag Team Championship Open Challenge. Heyman and Pace, who is the champion, versus Lee Moriarty. See Bastion cover shoots on the screen. Different moment, but we're going to roll. Okay, the bell sings. The bell gets going, and both guys circle and lock up. Moriarty uses technique to escape a wrist lock by the AEW World Champion. Lee takes the Heyman to the mat before locking in a hand scissors to keep the pressure on Page, who bridges out before escaping the hold. Page back on his feet as Moriarty stands up as well, looking for a test of strength. And Heyman obliges, and we get Greco-Roman grip in plays. With each man looking for the upper hand until Page takes the RH pure champion to the mat. Moriarty able to bridge up to a stop count before getting back to his feet. And then fucking thing, man. I can't scroll down for once. Alright, Moriarty then turns things around on the AEW World Champion with a few well-timed holds before sending Page to the corner. He backs away as Page looks to get back into it, and both men hit the ropes before Page takes control with the shoulder tackle, sending Lee to the mat. Both men are back up as Page evades a kick before taking Moriarty to the mat with a body slam, only for Lee land a kick to keep Heyman away. On that note, we should get to the main match commercial break as the AEW World Champion continues and stuff. With the show returns, we see Lee as has Page on the ropes, but is sent over to the apron by the AEW World Champion, only for his challenger to catch him on the top rope on the way down to the floor. Lee comes back in a springboard with springboard forearm and cover, getting a close near fall before Page before Page kicks out. Sorry. With both men back up, they trade strikes before Lee hits the ropes, only to be sent flying with a back body drop. Page stays in control with a fallaway slam before he gives up, catching the challenger with the Death Valley driver for a 2 count. Lee is able to get back into with his as he sends Page to the corner. After sending him into the corner, he quickly counters a dead eye attempt by Heyman into an octopus hole. He transitions to a cradle for a 2 count before moving into a motor seat stretch to get the Heyman in a road of trouble. Page manages to escape, blasts him with a lariat, and follow up with a dead eye for the win. So to retain, winner and still AW World Champion Heyman Page. Then see a digital exclude Cobb and Christian Cage backstage after their match of the Saturday past Saturday they roll out. So Coben says I can't do this anymore right now, so he doesn't. He comes back to him, and after that they shake hands, and Coben tells him you're our family. So, anyways, so after that we have a I don't know why I said it like that. So FTR addresses have a little promo segment thing in the ring and stuff. So here we go. And I can't fucking scroll down with this stupid thing. Alright, when show returns, someone's got TR, will make their way out. That's where it has some choice words with the fan way. Anyways, so FTR so we have to get in the ring. Two more boosts from the crowd. Cashmere takes a microphone saying he liked to do this himself to Shivani. He says they deserve the reaction they are getting, claiming that the actions they did on Saturday were not meant to go that way. He then calls out Cope for having his so-called childhood best friends and wife out before Stoke takes a mic to forgive Beth for what she did to him at All Out. He says he was running up the ramp not to run away from Beth, but introduce herself, even suggesting he allowed Beth to spear him and carry him to the back. He then says Cope and Cage needed Beth to win, and that worst part is Beth doesn't even work here. Dax says he was advised to come out here on live television and apologize. He will not apologize for dropping Cope and Cage on their heads next, but says he would never intentionally try to hurt Beth. Beth punched him in the nose and watered his eyes. In his confusion, he thought Beth was Cope and dropped her on her head by accident. He learned a lesson that night, and he hopes Beth did too, as he would never lay hands on a woman. Though with Beth, he uses the word loosely. Dax is caught up by Will Nightingale. And then Nightingale comes to the ring at first, dressed to the fake apology from FTR before turning her attention to Beth Beth Copeland. She talks about how much of an inspiration Beth is to her, even saying like Beth are the reason Willow came back from a broken freaking neck. A tip of the cap to Pittsburgh's own Kurt Angle, the former TBS champion. Then continues, she said, but most of all, women like Beth Copeland are the reason a woman like Willow doesn't take shit from guys like FTR. She implores them to give their apology another go before Stoke interrupts. Big Stoke goes on to say it must be past Willow's bedtime. This gets a shot to the head by Nightingale, but before FTR can retaliate, Jet Speed runs out to make the save, and FTR bells. On that note, the Velvet promo segment wraps up, and then we move on and stuff. Then we see real thing with MGF talking about all that stuff about he so pissed off about the with Mark Burns going with the violent tables and tags. MGF is actually converted dumbass, so he doesn't know he's playing MGF and all that stuff. So yeah, but anyways, we have the next match coming at the Conversation versus Doncast family. Back at ringside, Doncast family make their way out for next trio. Don Cat gets on microphone to talk about his skills as an artist, showing out paintings on the screen before saying he's been working on his masterpiece the past 6 days and 6 nights. Tonight, he reveals that the masterpiece is so big that they did to roll it out. A couple stage hands bring out a curious looking card with the painting as Don hypes it up. He tells the crew to unveil the painting, and Orange Cassidy's music hits as he pops out the painting. Instead, the rest of the corporation come out to get things going and brawl that finally gets underway. Alright, so Chaos stays largely on the outside as Briscoe hits a big dive to the outside, followed by a relaxed drop by Freshly Squeezed on in the midst of the bell actually rings. We start finishing with Cassie and Hichiro before Briscoe and then Hologram gets tagged in for a few shots on their own. Tag made to bring Cassie back in, who hits precisely one punch to a big pop from the crowd. Hologram tags back in for a flurry of offense on Hichiro, but this gets turned around as Hologram is dropped to the mat hard with the cutter. Before we go commercial break, the show returns. We see Hologram is taken down once again by Hichiro, who makes his way back in the ring with a springboard splash. Hichiro takes a head scissors by Hologram for his troubles before Takeshi runs in to get involved. He gets taken out as Okada runs in with a tag to knock the combination off the apron, only to get caught by a flurry of offense by Briscoe, which culminates in a fisherman's buster for a 2 count. Okada starts to get his shots back on. Briscoe gets a tag to Cassie. Orange gives a hug to his former Chaos teammate, who just looks at him confused before working with Takeshi to take the former natural champion down to the mat. Hologram tries to help out, but takes some damage from the Rainmaker. Okada and Takeshi stare each other down for a moment before Cassie gets involved with his dangerous kicks. He sends Okada to the mat, but Hishiro has made the tag, taking Cassie for a ride before sending him to the mat. Hologram gets a drop on him before Chaos and sways, leading to Takeshi dropping Hologram with a driver, only for Hologram to respond by dropping Takeshi down to send him out of the ring. Hishiro grabs Hologram, but is taken off by his game by an orange punch, allowing Hologram to hit a portal bomb for the win. So winners are the combination. Then Kyle Fletcher issued a challenge to Hologram. It says title versus streak. Then after that, Jurassic Express Unite finally, and then which will be next Wednesday and stuff. So next matches. Alright, so next match coming up is Powerhouse Hobbs versus Claudio Casanova. Now we turn. Alright, so Bell rough and running to in the ring with back four strikes before Claudio starts to take control. He sends Hobbs to the mat with a back suplex, but the Powerhouse is back on his feet before some body slams on Casanova. He shows relative ease and throwing Claudio around. From there, the former RH World Champion clinches a hold on Hobbs to force both men to the outside. They go back and forth until Hobbs hits a set of headbutts, sending Claudio to the ring steps, only for Claudio to evade Hobbs charging at him. Powerhouse crashes into the steps. Okay, sorry about that, guys. And then, stupid thing. Alright, Claudio picks up for the back suplex of his own, sending Hobbs over the barricade into the crowd. He sets over to hoist Hobbs up and drops him onto the barricade this time, causing some big damage on the Powerhouse. On that note, we should get to a mid-match commercial break. When the show returns, we see Claudio brings Hobbs to the ring to Gamer, a near fall. Both men fight to their feet. Back and forth they go before Powerhouse lands some hard shots on Casanova and sends him into the corner. Claudio escapes the corner. He then sends Powerhouse Hobbs up the turnbuckle for a suplex to send Hobbs crashing. We see a cover by Claudio by Hobbs, kicks out at 2. Claudio brings him back for a series of uppercuts, looking for a neutralizer before Hobbs counters out for a power slam. Hobbs gets a near fall, but follows up with a few more body slams for good measure until Claudio blocks one last slam attempt for an uppercut. He lays in some elbows shots before hitting the ropes, but Hobbs is barely phased by the lariats before hitting the ropes for a clothesline. Another body slam by Powerhouse Hobbs, but Pat comes rushing to the mat for distraction, allowing Claudio to land a running uppercut and cradle for the win. Samoa Joe comes running out to scare off Pac as Hobbs sends Claudio out of the ring. Alright, the rest of the Dead Riders Riders come out for a sneak attack on Hobbs before Heyman comes out to even things up after a short scuffle. The Riders escape through the crowd, though not before Claudio demands the ref raise his hand once more to remind everyone he won the match. We head to a commercial break. So winner is Claudio Castagnoli, and to win, yeah. So winner is Claudio Castagnoli, and then I want to, how you say it? Yeah, I had to. Sorry about the guys. I had to do this. How you say refresh it and stuff. Then Tony Khan announcement. So yeah, so as you guys know, there's a new championships on the show and stuff, and they have AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions. So they finally got one. So anyways, and after that, main event time is Chris Statlander, who's a champion versus Mina Shirakawa. Per match and down. Alright, so anyways, here we go. The bell sounds with this one. The two go at it before Chris takes the challenger to the mat, but Mina is able to fight back before celebrating. This leads to Statlander picking her up, dropping Mina to the mat once more before posing. Shirakawa takes the fight to Statlander, sending her to the corner for some punches before Chris fights back for a dropkick. We see hammer throw from Statlander that sends Mina to the corner hard, but she dodges a boot to hit a dropkick on the knee of the women's world champion. Alright, she follows that up, bringing her down to hard to the floor through the ropes. She follows up by sending Chris to into the ring steps for added damage, continuing to attack the leg before bringing Statlander back in the ring to break the ref's count. Chris manages to fight back, dropping Mina to the apron before coming back into the ring. All down that we should get to magical break and all that stuff. When the show returns, we see Mina regains control with a sling blade, sending Statlander to the mat. She continues the flurry of offense for a swinging DT off the ropes. She sets up for a surfboard stretch with a twist, but Statlander breaks free to send her challenger to the corner. She also counters a Glamour driver to go for Saturday Night Fever, but Mina counters for two. Chris responds by taking Mina down for a near fall on of her own. Now we see Dragon Screw by Mina twice over to keep Statlander's leg in play in pain. She climbs up top for a sling blade to keep Chris on the mat, carrying to get a close to count. She pops up into a rolling strike and a roundhouse by Mina, but Statlander hoists her up by her shoulders, only for Mina to counter out, sending in a figure four lay low on the champion. Statlander is in trouble until she gets the rope break. Alright, so now we work our way into the finishing sequence. We see Mina catch Chris with some more strikes to keep her down, but the champ breaks away from another figure four attempt before cinching in the seatbelt to keep Mina down for a 3 count, picking up the winner and retain her title in their first defense. The winner and still AEW Women's World Champion Chris Statlander wants the final match of the evening wraps up. We see quickly learn that the show is far from over. First, we see Will Yuta get into the ring and to congratulate Chris Statlander on the retainer title. Meanwhile, the rest of the terrorists come to ringside as well. John Moxley meets his as he comes out alongside Mina Shafir. The pair head to the ring as Moxley enters facing up with the AEW Women's World Champion with the look of approval before Yuta gets her hug. Statlander we're pretty sure something with a hug of her own. Harley looks confused stuff, and as Cameron starts to feel that her friend Statlander is abandoning her out of nowhere, Statlander blasts Yuta with a big lariat that lays him out. The crowd explodes. She stands up to Mox with a double burst salute before she and Cameron hightail it out of the ring and through the crowd. From there, Darby Allin comes out with a flamethrower. That Rush starts to confront Darby, but he shows that he knows how to use the weapon, scaring the group off to pose with the flamethrower on the ring steps. I'm sorry, as the Dead Riders escape through the crowd. That's not all. As though the Dead Riders are standing down Darby Allin, we see Allin lifts up a microphone and begins speaking. Darby left Moggs as he's never gonna quit before challenging John Moxley to an I Quit match at AEW Wrestle Dream 2025. We hear the Pittsburgh crowd react to the big challenge laid out by Darby for a rematch against Mox with the raised stakes as a commentary team quickly hypes out next week's lineup for the 6-year anniversary. And that's how the show wraps up and stuff. So yeah, good show tonight and stuff. Some were good matches and stuff. Some were boring earlier, but I think it was kind of slow tonight because I think everybody's tired from last Saturday and stuff. So yeah. So anyways, good show tonight, kinda. But anyways, that was it for this video. Hope you like it. Not whatever stuff. So let's grab hit the button in the comment. Hey guys, will leave me a comment stuff and carry you guys in. That was it. I'll see you guys Friday night for Friday Night SmackDown. All right, laters.